overnight success doesn't happen, dude. It's very rare.
Yeah.
It's those who stick at it, get better, that become the most successful. Get a coach. Get a mentor.
The fastest way to success is to just replicate what somebody else has done. All the successful entrepreneurs that I know, they had no plan B when they were focused on that one business they were starting. They had no plan B.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fire episode of the Winners Club podcast, where even when we don't win, we learn, and learning is a form of winning. And today we're going to learn a lot from my good guest here. You ready for this? But before I introduce him, my name is Brian Tran, your host. I got my co-host over there, PJ Padua.
Yo, what's up, guys?
And we have our special guest, Sal HabibI. Introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, guys? So, great introduction.
I don't want to share your story. I want you to tell us who you are, what you do, and how you're crushing at it in life.
Yeah, it's always funny to explain what I do because I sell on Amazon mainly, but I don't like to say I'm just an Amazon seller because I'm more than just an Amazon seller. But that's how I make my income is I sell on Amazon. I also coach people on Amazon FBA. Pretty much I've been an entrepreneur for the past few years. I've had a couple of different investments, and we're doing pretty good with Amazon. We're averaging about $300,000 per month in sales. Our members have been crushing it, doing a lot better than I even did when I started. So we got a great thing going on with the whole FBA side of things. And now I'm focusing more on producing content like we're doing right now, sharing, how other people can level up their life and trying to provide some value to the community.
I mean, this man's crushing it because, not only did he spend $500,000 in like 2 months on cars, he's just uplifted his roots. He was in Dubai for the last couple of years, living there, super lavish, and running a business that's virtual, right? That's a beautiful thing. And that's why I wanted to bring him on the show because, he basically turned his life around. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because I want you to take us back to the beginning because you weren't born rich. You didn't have this overnight success. This overnight success took years. So take us back to, like,
The dog
beginning.
days,
Yeah,
bro.
the dog days.
Hey, before we get into the dog days, man, I'm going to keep this fun for all the listeners out there so we know we're not playing around, man. What cars you got, man? What cars you just pick up, man?
Yeah, 2 months ago, we just paid off a G-Wagon G63, and then I'm waiting for delivery of my McLaren 720S, which ran up to almost about $300K, so that should be here on Friday.
Sheesh.
By the time I get back to San Diego, it should be there waiting for me.
Dude, let's go, man. Hey, congrats, bro, because that's my dream car. I'm going to pick one up soon.
But what car were you in during the dog days? Let's take it there.
So the car I got picked up in today from the airport. We're in San Francisco, right? I arrived in San Francisco and I called the Uber. I got picked up in a Hyundai Accent. I think that's what you call it. It's a basic Hyundai car, right? That's the exact car I had 3 years ago because I was an Uber driver and I was actually driving in the same area that I was in right now, going to the SF airport, picking people up, driving them around SF and San Jose and Oakland, and that was my daily life. I was an Uber driver driving that car.
Man, look at yourself now, man. You're hopping over here, shoot some content, inspire people, and just run a pod. Yo, it's full circle, man.
So how did that happen? You go from an Uber driver to Amazon, but before then, take us back.
Let's hear the story.
Let's hear the story. Like, did you grow? Were your family? Obviously they weren't super rich if you're driving Uber, but talk about it. Why didn't you go the traditional route? Why didn't you get a regular job? Why didn't you just do the typical thing that everybody does?
So if you're in college or if you're about to go to college, you're probably really confused about what are you going to, major in, right? That was the big thing is what am I going to major in? What degree are you going to get? And I know friends and family that continuously change their major because they just don't know what they want to major in. And I think they throw you in this pit when you first get to college as a freshman of pick your career. And you're like, how do I even pick? I don't even know what I want to do yet. I don't know anything. And okay, well, you can explore different career paths. Well, a lot of that is just a waste of time, right? Because you're exploring different career paths. You're trying to learn different things. You end up learning so much stuff that is irrelevant. And that's exactly what I did. So I did actually go to college for 6 years. And I ended up dropping out / getting kicked out at the very, very end. But we'll come back to that. So before I actually got to college, I did actually work multiple jobs. I had 5 jobs that I've worked in my life. I worked at GNC. I worked at the gym. I was a server at a restaurant. I was a host at a restaurant. and I don't know what the other job was at the restaurant, but I had 5 different jobs.
What kind of restaurant?
It was Jack's in Newark. Yeah, that's where I worked, and all 5 jobs fired me. So I got fired from every job I ever had. That led me to, what am I going to do to make money now? And unfortunately, I got into drugs. So I was around a very toxic environment. I'm not someone to blame other people for my actions. Like, I decided to start selling drugs. It was my choice, but I was influenced heavily by my friends back then, by the people around me, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know any better, so I started selling drugs. That led me to doing a lot of drugs, and doing a lot of drugs almost destroyed my life. So I caught myself at age 25. So this is 3 years ago, 25 years old. And I'm back in my parents' living room. They didn't have a room for me no more, right? So I'm in their living room, sleeping on a bed in their living room with like a sheet as a door. And I'm 25 years old, and I'm doing drugs still. I'm trying to quit selling drugs, and I have no job. I got fired from everything, and I'm like at the lowest rock bottom of my life. That was 3 years ago.
Man,
What was going through your mind? Because most people be like, you know what? I like that you said you're not one to blame anyone of your situation. At that point, what was your defining moment? Like, how did you know, okay, enough is enough? It's time to make a change.
or did you even like
Or
it?
yeah, or did you
like the
did you not?
lifestyle?
Like, what happened?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
walk
we'll
us
have
through-
to.
What was your mindset at that time? Because you hit the bottom, but you didn't give up.
So we'll have to take it back a little bit earlier to just some context on my family. So my parents moved here from Afghanistan. They're not from America, right? And my mom, she's a house mom. She doesn't work. My dad basically was the sole provider for the house, for the income. And what he does for a living is sort of what we do with Amazon FBA, right? The only difference is he doesn't sell online. He sells wholesale in person. So he would go purchase merchandise and have a warehouse with that merchandise and then resell it. So I grew up seeing my dad hustle. Like, by hustle, I mean, do you remember the days before GPS when we had to use MapQuest?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember being like 10, 11 years old, going on the computer, the desktop, and printing out MapQuest navigation to garage sales. To go to these garage sales every single week to pick up merchandise from people's garage sales, put them all up in a truck, bring them back to our house, clean them up, fix them, and sell them. And people do that as a side hustle today, but that was our family's main income.
Oh, dude, your dad was the original Gary V.
Yeah, literally was
Garage sale flipper.
a garage sale flipper. That's literally what he did, and we grew up with that. So we were very low income. Like, I didn't, we had one regular car that we had, and that was for the entire family growing up. So I never had luxuries and all that, but my dad still somehow, some way, right, without being born here, no education, he still gave me more of a life than most people that I grew up with. I was 16 when I got my first car. It was a BMW. I was 18 when I got the Camaro, right when it came out, when Transformers came out, right? The Bumblebee was on the movie.
Sick.
I was like, I want the car. My dad got me the car. Like, he made it happen. So he gave me everything I wanted, spoiled me, you can say. And now I'm 25. And this is what hurt me the most, is sitting there in the living room thinking, damn, my dad worked his ass off. He did everything to provide for me, make sure that I had the best life. Now I'm a grown man at 25 back in his living room with no money, in debt, with no car. I failed at everything in life, and I'm doing drugs. Like, how did I become this person?
Yeah.
And I just felt so disgusted that was what made me really like turn my life around.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's a really, really powerful story, and thank you for sharing that. I just want to ask, to clarify, so it doesn't sound like the business was producing enough money to be like, drug kingpin status, that you were just making no money doing drugs. It was pretty much rock bottom.
Yeah, I mean, here's the funny thing. You guys probably might know some people around you that might also sell drugs. Here's the funny thing. I don't know any of them that drive exotic cars. I personally don't know any of my old friends who dealt with drugs that live in nice penthouses. They're not making that kind of money. That's what you see in the movies. I wasn't making, $100,000 profit a month, flying on private jets. I didn't have a Lambo. That stuff's in the movies. The drug dealers here and around where you live, they're making little baby child money, and they're putting on a front like they make a lot of money, which is what I did. I acted like, I was living this life when I really wasn't. So no, I wasn't living a super luxury high-end
And you
life.
can't spend that cash.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go into a superstore, Lambo dealership and say, "Hey, here, take $300,000 in cash."
Yeah,
Right.
you're
And
always
then when they
worried.
run your credit, you don't have anything.
That sucks
So,
about that lifestyle. It's
Yeah,
limited.
that's
Limited
probably
life.
why.
All right, man. Well, let's fast forward, man. So what happened? Like, what did you do? You know, you're sitting here,
You drive an Uber.
driving Uber. You're thinking about, you know, how you feel like a disappointment, and how did you change your life? Where was the turning point?
I would say the biggest turning point was one day I was driving from before I moved back to my parents' house. Actually, I still had an apartment in San Jose where one bedroom was actually like a little trap house, and I had my friends working with me, and that's all we did. And it was such a toxic environment that like the only thing I knew was to wake up and do drugs and sell, and all my friends around me were in the same environment. So I had nothing outside of that. I knew no entrepreneurs. I knew no successful people personally. Like I wasn't around anything else but that. So what really changed me is one day after I had all these thoughts in my head already that I'm such a failure for what I'm doing, is driving back to my parents' house, and halfway there I stopped because there was a family event going on and I was high. And I was driving towards my parents' house and I felt so embarrassed to actually go, like get there, that I was like, I cannot go to my mom's house right now with the state of mind that I'm in. That's going to embarrass her. It's going to embarrass the whole family. So out of that embarrassment, I started crying in the car that day. And it really hit me like, what did you do to yourself that your parents did all this for you and now you can't even go to their house for a family event? That was such an embarrassing moment for me. And I haven't even told them this story yet, but it was like I felt so sad of who I had become that I told myself that I'm gonna cold turkey quit. Like I don't care about the money anymore. I don't care about the friends. I don't care about any of that life. Like I want to get rid of all of it, and that's what made me get rid of it.
You made the decision. See, like I think a lot of people always fail. Like they always say, "Oh, my life sucks," but they just keep continuing on that road. And I was talking to PJ. I was like, "You got to make that decision right then and there. Just go cold turkey. Like I don't give a shit how hard it is. I don't care if you have friends for 10 years, 12 years, but if they're not here to help you grow and become a better person, they're not your friends." And people always hang on to like time. Time does not define a relationship. Time does not define like really much. It's the quality. So I'm glad you brought that up, and it's a reminder for the audience and also for myself listening to it. Like, yeah, that's how you got to do it. You got to make that decision quick, and you got to change. But how did you get into Amazon then?
Yeah,
Because I mean that's drugs and Amazon. I mean, yeah, you're selling something, but that's completely different.
Before we transition, I just wanna add and dissect what you said. You know, for the viewers, the first step for you, you know, on the successful path to riches and wealth, and you know, living the life that you want. The first step was initially helping yourself first. You said it wasn't the money. You're just like, I gotta help myself first. So anyone listening, it has to be you. Don't worry about the money. Like, figure out your beliefs, your mindset. Something's not working. Fix that first, and then focus on the money.
And nobody's coming to save you.
Yep. Yeah, that
100%.
was the first step, was deciding that I don't want that anymore. And since I decided I don't want that, I had to now figure out what am I going to do with my life, which that's how I ended up back at my parents' house. So I no longer had an income. And when I say I cold turkey quit, this is my opinion, but I think if you're addicted to stuff, it's you're just, you can be stronger than that. Because I was doing whatever you can name I was doing. And I quit everything cold turkey, like the next day. I went from daily use to quitting the next day, and I didn't do it again after that. So, you know, if you say you're addicted, it's too late and you just can't, and you got to taper off slowly, whatever, these are just excuses in your head. Because, you know, the next day I quit. I got rid of the phones. I got rid of everything. I destroyed that environment. And obviously I had no money, so I had no more income coming in. So I had to get rid of the apartment, and I moved back to my parents' house. So that's how I ended up back in their living room at 25, at that state with almost no money left. But I did have about $7,000 left saved up. So I had some money remaining, and that's when I got introduced to Amazon, because the only successful entrepreneur that I knew from my area who had a Lamborghini, he had a house on the hill, he was in his 20s and he was like living this life. I don't know if you guys felt like that when you were younger, like, 19, 20. You're like, I want the Lambo. I want the nice house.
I've always been a dreamer, so this is like hitting home. Like I've always wanted the nicer things, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to want nice things. I don't know where people tell you like, oh, humble yourself. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, go after the nice things. You deserve it, but work for it. Don't just think it's gonna fall on your lap. So.
Yeah, so I that's the only person that I knew that had those things, and I was like, whatever he does, I want to do that. And I'm back at my parents' house, and I decided I'm gonna start driving for Uber because I got fired from every job, and I probably couldn't get another job at this point. And I also had just dropped out of college, so I also dropped out of college, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with myself? So I started driving for Uber because I didn't think I could get any other job, and I just wanted to work as many hours as I could to have some sort of income, right? So I'm doing this, and then he posts on Instagram that he's going to teach 6 people how to sell on Amazon. But the catch was that very day you had to go give him $10,000, like PayPal. So that was the catch. And I only had 7,000, but I wanted to do that so bad because I saw that as my gateway to a different life. I was like, this is where I am today. I don't like where I'm at. Mm-hmm. This guy who's just like around my age has a Lambo, house in the hills. He's a millionaire. He's doing YouTube. Like whatever he's doing, I want to do all that. And once he told me it's $10K to learn from him, I called up a friend. I got the rest of the money. And that day I went and paid him. So I started my new journey into entrepreneurship.
Yo, I love it, man. I'm pumped, man. So I want to take it back though a little bit. How did you even know about this guy?
Yeah, the Lamborghini helped a lot because he's the only guy I knew that had one. But he had a clothing brand, and he was driving around different gyms and dropping off the clothes himself, which is like super cool if you have a clothing brand personally delivering them. Mm-hmm. He was doing that, so pretty soon, he got pretty well known in the area. And I didn't know who he was personally, but I saw people wearing his t-shirts. I was like, whose t-shirts are those? Like everybody's wearing it at the gym but me. I don't know what they even are.
Yeah.
And that got me to add his Instagram, start following him, start seeing the car, and I was like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah.
100%, man. Do you I'm gonna ask one more question. Sorry, Brian, to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Were you at any time before you put this money, this is big, this is a lot of money. 10K is a lot of money, and it's practically all you had to your name. Were you at least a little bit scared or kind of iffy about doing this? What was your thought process on that?
It is a super scary thought, and I wouldn't advise anybody if you just have X amount of money to give it all into a mentorship, because you also need money for your personal expenses, right? Your car, your rent, your food, your gas, like you have a life, right? Luckily for me, I was back in my parents' house and they were very supportive, and I had no bills at that state of time. I had absolutely no bills. I think my dad might have even paid my cell phone bill. I don't remember, but I had no bills. I was living in their house for free for a few months. And I was like, well, I have nothing to lose, right? Like I literally have nothing to lose. I can't go more bottom than this. I was also depressed as hell. Like I was insanely depressed with my life. So I could not have gotten any lower than that. So to me, it was like, I can only go up from here. This is my chance. Why not?
Honestly, you probably took one step back to go multiple steps forward.
Yeah, I got more in debt.
Yeah. But like everybody, sometimes that's life. You can't expect everything to just go up and up and up. Sometimes you have to take a step back. You were going from, having your own apartment, having some money, right, to all of a sudden no apartment, living in a living room, no money, driving Uber. But that's okay. Those of you guys listening out there right now, that's okay. But you have to just. I like that you just went all in on Amazon, but most people are like, dude, I just want to stay at this job. I'm gonna make it more relatable to everybody. Like, I just want to stay at this job, $80K. I don't want to take a pay cut because, I don't want to go backwards. But sometimes going backwards and getting into the right path can actually propel you. Like, get into a sales job where you might only make $40,000 your first year, but has the potential to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. But nobody wants to do that because they don't want to go a step back. Yeah. So, that's a strong, powerful message that you were able to do it. And I think if you can do it, those listening can do it as well. My next question is, what was, like, he brought into your mind, you were scared as hell. But, like, at any given moment, did you feel like, dude, this is my time? it's on to you. I don't know how the mentorship went, but what was going through your head, like right then and there? Like, describe that moment. Like, I'm gonna go all in. And did you really go all in, or did you kind of just? I mean, obviously the answer is you're sitting here today, super successful, but kind of walk people through that defining moment and what it was like during that mentorship.
Yeah, I will say I've learned more from my first mentor that I had than I did in all my years of college when it comes to becoming successful in life. A lot of the stuff we learn in college is just useless information to memorize that you're never going to apply. You've heard this stuff, right? You're never going to use the stuff they teach you, but it's just to test you of how well you can memorize shit, right? So with him, he actually, for the first time in my life, introduced me to personal development. He introduced me to writing down my goals. He introduced me to meditating, and he introduced me to waking up and setting a schedule, a routine for how I'm going to accomplish those goals that I've set. And, you know, he introduced me to the law of attraction and all these things that they're kind of cliche on social media today. You know, it's the stuff that all the entrepreneurs talk about, but there's a reason why everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we all had to initially do to become successful. Like what made me go all in and stay so excited was having those big goals. Like I can also get that car. I can also have that house. I can also become a millionaire. And I don't know any millionaires in my life, but why can't I become the first millionaire that that I know? And once you set those goals, like it's so exciting to do that you don't care about anything else anymore. You don't care about what if it doesn't work, because what if it does work?
So do you think you would have been as successful if you didn't have that mentor?
No.
Yeah.
No, hell no.
You need a mentor.
No, if I didn't have my first mentor, I would have never got introduced to this whole theory of setting C-type goals and going after things that you don't know how you're even going to do them. Like when you first started in real estate, did you know how you were going to make your first $1 million?
No, I got a coach right away too.
But you wanted to make $1 million, right? But did you know how you're going to do it?
Nope.
No. But eventually you'll figure it out. That's the thing, is people want to know A, B, C, every single step before they're going to make the first $1 million. None of us know how we're going to make our first $1 million. But you got to at least set the goal and then work backwards and work towards it, which is what I did.
Like I said, you make the decision, you make the move, you take action, you fail, you keep going, and eventually you just learn and you get better. Because every time you fail, you learn, and every time you learn, you win. You made the mindset a shift to go, okay, I'm going to go all in on Amazon. You got the mentor, you dropped $10,000 to learn from him. How did your first month and second month go?
Yeah, this was one of the funniest moments in the past 4 years of my life, I would say. So after the first month ended, about 32 days in, I'm at his house. If you guys know Derek Struggle, he was my mentor. So I'm at Derek's house, and I'm sitting there next to him on the computer. He looks at the dashboard of my Amazon store, and he's like, "Sal, congrats, bro. You made your first $1,000 in sales in 1 month." And I mean, yeah, that's an accomplishment. But to me, I was like, I just paid $10,000 to learn. I paid $4,000 for my first inventory cost. I drove people around town all day in Uber, all day, driving people everywhere from San Francisco to San Jose to Oakland to save up money just to launch this brand. And I made $1,000 in sales. So basically I'm negative 13,000 after my first month on Amazon. And he was clapping. I was extremely pissed. But if you're listening, Derek, thank you, because he said, this is just the start. Like, you just launched on Amazon. You have no reviews yet. You have a few, you have to get higher ranked on page 1. You have to add your second product. You have to build out your brand. You have to learn PPC. Like, you literally just started. Like, do you think I had the Lambo the first month? And I was like, damn, he's right. For a second, I did doubt it. I was like, for a second, maybe everybody was right. My parents, everybody was like, don't do Amazon. Everybody told me not to do it. So there was like a second only where I was like, damn, they were all right. And then as soon as he explained it to me, I was like, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Like, you can't just launch and become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And our third month on Amazon, we did $25,200 in sales. And then our seventh month,
$25,200.
Yeah, $25,200 in sales. My third month ever selling on Amazon. And our seventh month, we did $100,000 in sales.
Oh yeah, you were a believer by now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, after the second month, I believed in it, but it took a while to get to the desired income that I wanted.
Yeah.
But it's still like 7 months is not that big of a time frame to make $100,000 in sales.
Yeah.
100,000 for that month.
Just for that month.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Congrats to you. That's
Amen.
I want to dissect something real quick because a lot of people always think that like, oh, I'm gonna start this business, and in their head they're like, I'm gonna be a millionaire right away.
Yeah.
Like, and dude, you know how hard it is to go from 0 to 100, but to go from 100 to 120 and 130, it's easier. Right? Just understand that. Just think about that real quick. Like, when you start at nothing and you have no income, you have no skills, it's very hard. But once you get there, it does get easier because you get better. And then, the product continues to roll. It's a snowball effect. So remember that. If you guys are listening to this and you guys are starting something and it's not going well right away, overnight success doesn't happen, dude. It's very rare.
Yeah.
But it's those who stick at it, get better, that become the most successful.
Yeah. I mean, you guys heard the story already. I mean, the Lambo doesn't happen in a month.
No.
It took me 3 years. 3 years later, and I just bought the McLaren.
You know what's crazy, bro? Like, honestly, I only say this too because like Derek's actually like my brother-in-law, but it's crazy because he actually set a goal for 5 years and did it in 3. And then we were at WealthCon and Ryan Panetta was saying that the magic number is 3. It's just crazy how like all those things.
3 years too.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I just realized that.
It's crazy, right? Freaking crazy.
It took 3 years to get it. Yeah,
dude.
But it's like, but don't. There's a saying: the blind leading the blind.
Mm-hmm.
Get a coach, get a mentor, and
sure.
you got to do some vetting. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are a lot of shit coaches out there, a lot of shit mentors.
Ooh, I'd love to ask a question about that.
Find somebody who's doing what you want to do at a high level, living the life you want to live, and freaking go pay for their services or learn from them.
Yeah.
And if you can't learn from them, man, you just keep looking, because there's no way in hell you could have launched that Amazon store if you didn't pay that $10,000.
No, before I actually paid him, I did on my own. I did try to set up some drop shipping stores. I did try to learn about different ways to make money online, affiliate marketing. And I just went down this rabbit hole of watching endless YouTube videos, reading blogs, going on Instagram accounts of, other mentors, and just trying to figure it out, because I was like, why should I pay somebody when it's all out there for free? It's true. You can learn anything you want for free. If you go on Instagram, you can go to whatever niche you're in and learn about it for free. You can get all the knowledge you want for free. Yeah. But what happens when you make a mistake? You have no one to ask. What happens if you want to shortcut the process, and instead of spending months trying to learn, somebody could teach you in a couple weeks? That's why it's really important to get a mentor. It's like the fastest way to success is to just replicate what somebody else has done.
I completely agree with that. And even to add on to that, even if you're maybe not looking at things clearly, like maybe it's not even like business, but just like you said, you're over here mad that you only made 1,000, and your mentor was able to kind of show you the light and be like, hey,
long vision, like,
exactly, right? And I think that is priceless with a mentor. If you can find a mentor who could show you the road and kind of be like your support system too, man.
A lot of it is because the path to success looks very similar, and so we've all been there where it's like, the first month you didn't make anything, second month, sometimes even longer. I mean, you're an overnight, like, that's pretty fast. 7 months is amazing, but like, I'm relating it back to realtors. Most realtors take 6 months to get their first deal. But after that, it starts to get easier because you start learning the right terms. You learn how to talk. You learn how to sell. But most people can't make it past that 6 months because they're like, oh, man, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I didn't make anything. This isn't for me. They quit too soon. And they didn't have a mentor to tell them, like, hey, look, it took me 6 months as well, but you got to stick at it. You got to get better at your skills. You got to continue to do the activities that I'm telling you to do. And then all of a sudden, boom, it clicks.
Yep.
Dude.
So that's freaking amazing.
All right, guys, let's transition. So, hey, I want to know, Sal, you're making money now, big time, money is easy. What happens after? Did you upgrade your life? Did you do this? What are the amazing things that happened after going through this mentorship program and basically changing your whole life?
Yeah. So one thing, first of all, when you start making more money, it's only really, really exciting once you break past that number you thought you couldn't break past. So for me, making more than 10K a month was like, I'm freaking rich, even though, it's not a lot of money. But that was for me, it was like, I want to make more than 10K a month. Once you hit like your first $100,000 in a month, it doesn't really get more exciting after that. Like, you can make $300,000 in a month, $400,000 a month. Your level of happiness does not increase after a certain amount of money. Like it's just numbers in the bank at this point. So although yes, I want to make more money, I want to add more, commas to my bank account. That doesn't really keep you excited. You got to figure out what's going to keep you going every day to not only produce more income as an effect, but also, raise your level of happiness in life. And for me now, one thing me and Jackie are doing is we're going to orphanages in San Diego, and there's a lot of kids that, they were like left on the side of the street and they had no parents and just orphans in Mexico. And we're going there and providing them with laptops and, school supplies and hiring them tutors. And we're about to actually take them to their first trip ever to the zoo. They've never been to the zoo in their life, and we're about to take them to the zoo. So that brings us a lot of happiness. Yeah. And, it's not like we're spending hundreds of thousands on them, but just going there and being able to give back in that way, that brings me a lot of happiness versus if I make an extra couple $1,000s today. So that's one thing I'm doing to, increase my level of happiness in life is how can I make other people happy? How can I show other people a better life? That's been pretty cool. And then when it comes to, Amazon FBA and actually focusing on growing our income, once you get to a certain level, again, you can automate things. And that's where we've gotten this to a point where I don't need to go open my laptop today and like go work on my Amazon store. Like the products are there. The customers are buying it and Amazon's fulfilling it. If I even go to my laptop and open it, there's not much I can even do. Like it goes by itself. I don't need to do anything for it anymore except reorder inventory. So I'm focusing on giving back and finding ways to make more money in other avenues now that I've mastered Amazon.
Awesome,
you
man.
make, you manage, you multiply. That's what Ryan taught us. It's crazy because he just simplified it to make it like easy, but then that's what we were always doing. Again, success is all like it's the same cycle for everyone. Mm-hmm. How you get there, how you make it is a little bit different, but everybody always makes first one income, then they learn to remove themselves from the business, and then eventually they get the multiple. They say like the average millionaire has 7 forms of income, but don't get it twisted. They started with 1.
I only have 2 right now.
Yeah, they started with 1, and now you're in the multiply stage.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna get like a bunch of others. Can we talk about the other business? What else? What else are you in?
Yeah, so when we were back in Dubai, we did meet a lot of people that were into other businesses.
Nice.
So we didn't invest into like a startup tech company that's in Dubai. That is somebody that we met, we're close friends with, and we were able to like learn a lot about it. So we invested a little bit of money into that. And now that we're back, our main goal back in America now is to get into real estate because we want to have property here. We know it's great to invest your money into it. So now what we're doing is trying to educate ourselves into investing into real estate. We're probably only going to do that until we feel confident in it and then move on to a 4th income stream. I'm not going to, get into real estate.
The biggest thing with real estate for you is going to be the tax.
Yeah.
You got to depreciate. Like, you're probably in a very, very high tax bracket. So the best way to do it is you're going to buy property, do a cost segregation study on it, and then rapidly depreciate all the properties to get you a big tax savings.
That's what he's going to help me with.
Yeah, we're going to do that, man. We're going to buy a lot more properties. What other questions you got, PJ?
I got a bunch.
He kind of hit me with like the orphanage thing. That was because I usually do that the same. We go back to Vietnam. And here we do what we can, but like out there, we can definitely, our money goes a lot further, and we can definitely make a big impact. Yeah. And you hit it spot on. Like money is great, but it's only how you use the money. And I found that when you use it on other people, it's like it's a whole nother feeling. So I amen to you, brother. Let me know if anything I can do to help. I definitely want to support and throw some money at your cause as well.
Like they're excited for tacos. Like they literally told me, we don't ever get tacos. I was like, you live in Mexico. How do you not get tacos? And they're like, no, that's a luxury for us. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to bring you guys tacos then.
Yeah.
Like it's not awesome. A lot, but to them, it's like somebody from America is going to come bring us tacos. Like that makes their whole month. So crazy. That's what we're excited for, things like that.
That's awesome, man. So I want to go ahead and ask you some juicy questions, Sal. So a lot of people do go into the space of Amazon FBA, and for the benefit of everything else that we talk about in general, right? There's a lot of people who go into something and some succeed and some just don't. Why is that reason? And why do you believe, someone who was able to become successful in this industry?
The easiest way I can put it is if you have no plan B, there's no way you can fail. And not a lot. All the successful entrepreneurs that I know, They had no plan B when they were focused on that one business they were starting. They had no plan B. They went all in, but not all in a sense that, after work, I'm going to put a couple hours in and I'm going to focus on this and skip my birthday event this weekend. That sounds like all in, but all in means no safety net. All in means you're going to succeed no matter what. Like, you cannot fail. If you have that mindset, you literally cannot fail, because the thing is, the answers are out there. Like, Amazon FBA is a great business model, and you will come up with a lot of problems and struggles. They're going to happen regardless, right? But all those problems have solutions. The people that have no plan B, they'll find those solutions no matter what. The people that have a plan B, if Amazon doesn't work, I'm going to just go back into crypto. Or I think I'm going to just get back into stocks. My friend's actually making some money in stocks. I'm going to just try to do that for a couple of weeks, because Amazon got a little hard. And now to them, Amazon doesn't work, but they had a plan B the whole time. Or the easiest one is, I'll just stay at my job if the side hustle doesn't work. Yeah. But if you tell yourself, like, no matter what happens, I will succeed, then how could you possibly fail? That's what I did. That's what my partner did. And I think everybody that I know that succeeded, they had no plan B with their venture.
Yeah. That win or win mentality.
Because you have to grind it out.
Yeah.
You have to, like, I mean, I'm a big believer in the saying that if you stick to something, you will become rich at it. Yeah. But the time, it could take you a little bit longer than everybody else, but it just depends on you. Are you leveling up? Are you getting better? So you constantly stick, and if you don't stay in the good times and you get out, guess what? When times are easy, you're already kind of late. You lost the momentum.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like you got to just stick at it. Same thing. I mean, and I'm going back to real estate. You don't think every year was a bad year for real estate? Like, we just went through the pandemic. We couldn't sell real estate for 3 months, right? Interest rates are through the freaking roof. What are you gonna do if you're gonna give up and go to stocks every time something bad happens? Like, come on.
Wasn't that a great time for realtors also in 2020?
Well, because the ones that stayed in it and they kept at it, we all made a boatload of money. Yeah. And even today, with the rates being 6-7%, we're still selling stuff. My team, we're still on track to doing $100-something million a year in sales. But you just have to work harder. You have to level up your skills, level up your communication. And then when things get easy, you're just an expert. Like, dude, I can sell in a good market. I can sell in a bad market. Yeah. Granted, in a good market, I do less, right? Yeah. But if you constantly make excuses, even when things are moving, oh my God, we don't have inventory. Oh my God, things are moving so fast. Like, they're not even taking offer dates. Like, when a property goes on the market, we have to get there right away. And then now, like, obviously less inventory, high rates. Oh my God, the rates are so high. Oh my God, there's no inventory. I'm like, bro, come on. You're just making excuses.
Yeah. I think the excuses are too high these days. Yeah. And here, I can literally prove to you, a lot of people are not going to want to hear this. Yeah. But I'm going to prove to you in like a couple minutes how, if you are broke in 2023, you are literally deciding, you're actively deciding every day to be broke. And I don't care how old you are, where you live, if you're in a first world country, actually, and you are broke. Yeah. I'm going to break it to you right now that you are choosing to be broke. You probably own Jordans or Nikes or, different Apple products. You probably own those products, right? You've probably went to at least one event this year, an NBA event, concert. You probably went to Coachella. If you have those luxuries and you've went to these events, but you haven't spent $1 on personal development or a mentor, you are literally choosing to be broke. You would rather go to see Bad Bunny perform than spend that $1,000 ticket on a mentorship. You would rather have those Jordans. You got the Cool Grays and the 4s, and I don't even know them because I don't have any of them. But you would rather buy those Jordans that cost $500 each, and you have a stack of them and you take pictures of them. You'd rather have those shoes than have a mentor teach you how to make $100,000. So most people today, especially in America, they're literally choosing those materialistic things than actually pursuing becoming wealthy. And it's a choice, because you can sell those things today and go get a mentor and use the rest of the money from those Jordans and start a business and make so much money you can go back and buy all of those things again. But you rather not.
Boom.
That's literally the case of the America today, at least people my age.
I see it too. And a lot of people, I mean, they say one thing, but their action doesn't align with what they say they're going to do. I want to start a business, but you go buy Jordans. I actually, you bringing that up, I'm like, yeah, people do that a lot. I'm like, you guys are ridiculous.
I have a pair of Nikes I'm wearing, but like, I almost wear the same shirt every day. Not the same exact pair. I have like 10 of them, but I wear the same black Gymshark t-shirt everywhere I go. Why? Because I don't really care about buying, a super expensive Gucci t-shirt to go walk around. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't care what shoes I got on every day. I'm trying to make money. I'm in my growth phase right now. I'm trying to pursue the most growth I've ever made. I'm trying to start new businesses. I'm trying to make a lot of money. I could care less about going to see Bad Bunny perform, having the newest Jordans. People wait in line and get in fights over shoes in the Bay Area.
I mean, dude, like I think like the Warriors tickets are so expensive right now. I'm like, these guys are there. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I want to ask though.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about all this and Jordans, and I can't agree with you anymore. But were you someone who used to be like this, and did you have to unlearn this yourself? And how did you do that?
So when I was back in my little phase of selling drugs, I did make like fast money, not a ton of money, right? But I made fast money. Yeah. So I did go buy like a Gucci wallet one time, and I probably bought like a Louis Vuitton backpack.
Nice.
Just because I was traveling a lot and using fast money. But I was never in a phase of my life where I had to have every pair of Jordans. I had to have every pair of Nikes that came out. I had to wait. I've never waited in line for a pair of shoes. If you can do that, you have the effort to do that, but you don't have the effort to wait in line at a Tony Robbins event. Like I said, you're choosing to be broke. You rather have the shoes than to have the mentorship. Yeah. You rather see Bad Bunny and Drake perform than go listen to Tony Robbins change your life. You're choosing to be broke. It's a fact.
Amen. Amen. I just want to say to all the listeners, if you are someone,
he's more blunt than me.
Hey man, he kind of is. He kind of is, and that's what we need on this show. I just want to say, if you're someone who is that, you can unlearn this. I don't care if you think you're stuck. Yeah. I mean, this man right here has told you the craziest story, from waking up doing drugs, selling drugs, sleeping on his parents' living room. If he could change his life, you could change their choice to be broke. And I believe that everyone here would agree. If you can make the choice to be broke, you can make the choice to be wealthy.
Yeah, we all have choices.
We all have choices. We choose your hard. It's hard to be poor, and it's hard to get rich. Which one do you want to go?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, This was a fire episode. Let's go ahead and end it here. We're going to have him on, this episode. This a podcast multiple times. We're going to dive a little bit deeper, but we appreciate you guys listening. Do us a favor, share this with 5 people who need to hear his story.
Let's do it. And before we head out, man, I want to give you complete reign. Sal, what do you want to tell the audience, whoever's listening to?
Yeah.
What message do you want to share with them?
If I had to share one thing to leave everybody with, it would be, it's usually the cliche things that you hear: dream big and go after your goals, things like this. But the number one thing that helped me, that I'll always talk about, is setting goals. Once again, ask yourself, what are your goals for this year? And like I said, not like you want just a car or you want a house. Like, what exactly do you want? Think about that, write it down, and imagine you have that in your life. Now, when you wake up, you don't have to rely on motivation. You don't have to rely on the 15-minute YouTube video that fired you up for the gym, and now you're back scrolling on TikTok because you're unmotivated now. When you have that goal and you know what you're after, you don't lose motivation because you don't need it, because you know what you're going after every day. That is your motivation. Like, I want X in my life. That'll keep you going nonstop. So set a goal for the year, a couple goals, and go after those. Your life will change.
Boom.
Yo, thank you so much again for being on the show, Sal. We're going to head out. See you guys on the next one.
Peace.